What is up, everybody? It's your boy, Coach AB. That's Kev with a little howdy do, and Brendan with the little, I don't know, was that supposed to be a man wave? I'm not sure what's going on there. All I see is bourbon and gray hair. And apparently a new found bald spot for Brendan. I don't know. More later, we'll find out.
Fight the good fight, AB.
If you're listening to us on the pod version, I'm sorry, I'm not starting off very strong here. If you're tuned in, though, you came to find out about 5 recruits that really you need to know about. These are 5 guys that have either been on Florida State's campus in the original 2 or the 2 junior days that have already taken place in the month of January, or one prospect who Zach got to see down at Battle Miami, set big time 7-on-7 competition tournament down in Miami, obviously. So we're going to jump into some film. Again, if maybe you're listening to this on pod, I'm not sure if it'll go out on the pod format. Probably not, because there's film, but you never know with Brendan. If you're listening to this, bear with us. We're going to do our best to describe. If you're watching, thank you. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribed and have your bell notifications on. Yeah, I'm going to point down here acting like that's where it's at, but it's really probably over that way. Maybe over there. It's hard.
It's really hard to figure out where to point. There it is.
So the first prospect.
This isn't going on the pod. There's no way. This is awful for the audio medium.
The first player we're going to take a look at is Ricky Knight III, a personal favorite of mine. I was almost jumped through my headphones today when I heard somebody call Dane Draper. Yeah, I love you, Dane, but called Dane Draper the president of his fan club. I want to let it be known right now. I am the president of Ricky Knight III's fan club. This dude can play ball.
So there is a dynamic here to work out that you and Dane might have to do little heads and tails coin flip action. But like Dane is kind of a whore. Like he took Darian Williamson from me. He's just jumping around to different people's fan clubs. He needs to figure it out. He can't be the presidential fan club of everyone. So this might be a Dane thing at this point.
Dane, come at me, bro. People. Come at me, Dane.
So for background on Ricky Knight, as we pull up the film here, he is a 3-star recruit from the Benjamin School down in North Palm Beach. If that sounds familiar to you, that's because that's where the one, the only Jordan Travis, I'm the president of his fan club, went. And he's considered an athlete. He's a wide receiver / cornerback, but FSU's recruiting him as a defensive back. I said cornerback. I didn't enunciate well. 87 grade from 24/7 Sports, not ranked in the composite yet. Someone that we're a little higher on as a network than others are right now. Andrew Ivins is down there, does a really good job evaluating, so he's gotten to see him in person. But I think AB that we will see his star only continue to rise.
I was talking with a DB coach from Florida recently, and the first thing that he said to me was that kid is smooth, and it jumps out on film with him. He's very fluid in every motion that he takes. He plays the ball well. He's got some length to him. You saw him in person. Did you got a chance to see him in person, Brendan?
No, I was there the next day, so I didn't get to see him in person. But reviews were that he looked every bit at I think he's 6 foot 168. He might be 6'1". Good frame for sure.
I'm wondering if he's going to be potentially a nickel prospect for them, a guy that they can slide inside. Kevin and I, you're going to hear us all off season talk about getting bigger and longer at the nickel position. So every DB, like Chris projects every offensive lineman to guard, I'm going to be projecting every defensive back to nickel, be forewarned.
Yeah, I think the reason that we look for nickel guys is because I think if you can play nickel, you could probably also effectively play safety. We're looking for someone who's physical, can make tackles in the box, but also has the length and agility to kind of keep up with wide receivers kind of in space. Yeah. I really like that he put that first play first, so I'm going to kind of go back to it because I think it's important. So he's in a zone drop here. It looks like probably some sort of cover 3. And there's a guy running down the seam. So normally this is a true cover 3 beater, right? Right. The one space between the 3 deep defenders that no one's at. And this is just awareness you don't see much from the high school level. Seeing the quarterback release this, knowing where the natural weaknesses in the defense that you're currently playing are, and jumping this and being able to kind of get on it. That's an awareness that I think you have to really like out of a high school prospect.
Yeah, he's clearly tracking the quarterback's eyes there if he's jumping that. So that's good. He's a risk taker. It's one of those things that probably could get you beat at the next level, but they'll work that out.
You know what I really like about his play, and you just saw it on that clip specifically, but even in the one that Kev pointed out too, he's very good reacting to things in front of him. He moves forward well, which makes me think safety. I'm going to pull a Chris Knee and be like, oh, that seems very natural. But does a very good job changing direction quickly, especially north-south. Sees things, reacts to them quickly, and I mean, I think this play as well, you're going to see him break ahead. Yeah, here we go.
He's very physical. He doesn't waste a lot of motion. He's explosive when he gets downhill. I mean, this is a young man who didn't have a P5 offer 2 weeks ago. Florida State jumped in the boat, and then immediately, like Miami, I think Oklahoma jumped in. I believe Oklahoma. I might be wrong about that one. I think Penn State jumped in there. You saw a handful of P5 schools jump on once Florida State offered. And I know, the star watchers out there will say, well, he's a 3-star, but I mean, you're looking at the film. This is not 3-star film, in my opinion.
He's probably, I mean, at the very least, he's an 87 right now. I think he works his way up to being 89 low or high, or sorry, high end 3-star, but I think he probably ends up getting to be a low end 4-star by the time it's all said and done.
The verified numbers will be important for him to how high his ceiling ends up being. The instincts are there, though. You see good frame, physicality, all the football stuff checks off. You just want to know, look at him track that ball, run and make the play.
I'm curious his height weight here. Specifically his height. There are other corners on the field that are a little bit taller than him on his own team. So that might be why he was originally kind of kept a little bit lower. I think he seems about 6 foot, which isn't abnormal for a corner, but that might be why he was originally kind of kept at that 3-star. But he just has such fluidity and instincts that
here's something, Kevin, you mentioned fluidity and lower body, like you even see here at wide receiver, like it's there. There's some shiftiness. It is weird when you watch him at DB a few times. I don't even know how it affects him super negatively. I think there's some explosiveness that it maybe prohibits. His upper body seems tight, which is weird. Usually when you talk about tightness, to me, it's lower body. But there's a few times when you seem to go to turn and run to where it almost seems a little clunky, or his arms are down. I don't know. It could even just be an optic thing where it doesn't really impact him and it just looks different. But I have noticed that even watching here, this is probably the third time I've watched him in the last few days, it does bug me a tad.
I think another thing you got to watch out for is he's playing almost entirely zone defense here. So we haven't seen any man snaps really. So that might be a technique thing that he needs to grow in. But I mean, I think the tools are there.
Yeah, I think in the long run, this is a young man we do believe is a take for Florida State at some point if they were to get in a position to want a commitment from him.
Potentially, I think he's very much in that conversation. What we're going to start seeing, and we've touched a little bit about this on OTB, I think it's going to be a talking point that persists throughout the eval period here in the spring and going into the summer, guys. The DB board is really deep. And about both safety, corner, you guys mentioned nickel. I think FSU, has typically been able to only recruit. They've had to give up a few things for cornerbacks, nickel corner specifically, in past classes. You may have to give up either some height in order to have quickness or quickness to have length. I think you're now starting to see you're able to get the full total package of a slot / nickel corner. And I think we're starting to see that too. So basically, bigger talent pool to pick from. FSU is going to have to do a pretty thorough vetting process. The spring eval period is going to be important to see guys move in person, be able to get some measurements and stuff now, but to get a little bit more of a idea how guys are filling out, because you're going to see a lot of guys like Ricky Knight who would have probably been surefire takes a year ago. Now you get the fun musical chair game of saying, okay, is this guy going to fit into this class? It's a good problem to have for sure.
Yeah. They're in a bit of a power position where they can wait on some guys at this point.
That's nice. Things are changing a little bit.
I'm not sure everybody agrees because they want commitment.
And they aren't happy with a linebacker visiting at the end of the 2023 cycle, and when you have official visits to Burn and potentially scholarships to Burn too. But,
Anywho,
what do I know?
The next prospect we're going to take a look at, and this is a name everybody probably knows, but really we just wanted to talk about him because I think he's really good. That young man's Dylan Stevenson out of Columbus High School down in Miami. This is going to be a big boy battle.
Yeah, it's going to be a Florida State Miami battle, very likely, and then some other teams are getting in there as well.
Yeah, so we're going to find out quickly whether they got their big boy pants pulled up and whether they're ready to go battle this thing out. This is the kind of prospect that we need to see them start to land.
Yeah.
It's an in-state big time defensive end. He's got legit size, legit weight. It's all there, the full package. We're going to take a look at the film. Any background?
Yeah, a little bit here. So he was on campus this past weekend for Junior Day. You go ahead and listen to his interview at Knowles 24/7. Very thoughtful, very well spoken. Easy for me to say. I can't say well spoken, but he's very mature, and you see that in the interview. He's from Miami Columbus High School. That's notable because not only is it in Miami, it's also where Mario Cristobal is from, and there's a large contingent of Miami power players who are from Columbus. It's a big reason why they're able to get Mario Cristobal. So there's connections to not just that area, that school specifically. That's when we say, when AB says put on your big boy pants, you're not going to have to only recruit against a team that's local, but a program that has its NIL together, that has proximity in its favor. He's currently ranked as, 95 grade in the composite, top 100 player nationally. 24/7 Sports has him as an 89 overall grade. For context, 24/7 Sports will roll out higher grades as the eval period progresses. We get more information, usually pretty conservative with the grades, so they're always almost going to be lower than the industry composite, and that'll change over time. He's 6'4", 215 pounds, definitely a long, big-bodied frame in person. I have not watched this film yet, so this will be fun to look at with you guys.
Yeah, he's actually listed at 230, so he's gained 15 pounds since you
huddle.
Columbus moves him around. He plays some stack backer. He plays some edge.
Yep.
You see him stand up a lot. I mean, he's an athlete. He jumps out.
Turn and run right there. The ability.
Yeah, he's immediately his length.
Change direction.
For our purposes, when a player is really, really good, we should know in the first 2 or 3 plays. And that first one was, there's some athleticism. Oh, there's the hands.
Yep.
Change the direction. Does he get the ball? It would have been nice if he got the ball. Yeah, there's some juice here right away. This is fun.
I mean, the get off is explosive.
Yep, burst off the edge.
First 2 steps, he's gained 4 yards roughly.
Under control, guys. I think that's standing out pretty early. That's one thing I love to talk about is control and how the player balance and how they handle contact. And when they go full speed, do they deaccelerate and reaccelerate? He's got all that.
Oh, there he is. So he's
square.
Yeah, he's surfing here, so that's what they call it. Staying square with the running back, kind of reading this, kind of making the quarterback be wrong. And he's got the closing speed and length to just wrap that up in the backfield. I mean, that's Georgia was able to stifle TCU in the national championship because they had defensive ends that could do that.
Yep.
That's what makes good defenses elite.
Here he is playing linebacker.
Look at this.
So, yeah.
He's standing up on the weak side there?
I believe so. That's where the arrow is pointed.
Yeah, that looks like him. So, playing some will.
So, you get an opportunity to look at some of his diversity to his game.
Good.
I believe he forced a fumble on that play.
Yeah, he does. He just kind of sticks his arm in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just the length. It's that first step length.
Yeah,
he gets 2 yards with his first step. So even if it doesn't look like he's making the quickest, choppiest steps, he's just so long.
Long,
his hands there.
Athletic, good hands, active, bendy, so some ability to turn and run, and around the ball. I mean, I know it's the highlight tape, but he's reacting to things and in the right position.
Yeah,
chasing things down backside.
Now you guys talked about him on OTB. Was it his dad that was a coach at Bethune-Cookman?
No, that was LJ McCrae's dad. Who was the coach at Bethune.
I knew it was one of the two. I couldn't remember which one it was.
I
found that to be very interesting.
So he got varsity snaps as an 8th grader, played for 7 on 7 Miami Immortals. That's all we have on him. That's interesting. He got some 7-on-7 work as a defensive end.
So I think it's clear that he's got the first step. He's got the size. He's got the length. Well, actually, I don't know if he's got the size. Do you think, you guys, how much weight do you think he needs to put on at the next level to be kind of at his best?
If he's actually 215, 35, that won't be an issue.
No, you saw guys like Patrick Payton, which build-wise seems pretty pretty favorable to Pat Payton. You're able to get 25 pounds on in the first year, then that turns into good weight by year 2. We'll see what year 3 happens. He's got everything, Kev, to your point, like everything you mentioned, length, burst.
And I think I'll add to that. He's already, so it looks like he's going to be able to put on weight on his bottom half, which is where you kind of want to be able to put that weight on as a defensive end. You want those strong legs. You see that with Patrick Payton. He's kind of bottom heavy, but that helps with the burst, with the winning those kind of battles at the line of scrimmage against bigger offensive line.
That looked like that was against Apopka too, which is not a slouch team. It's a decent level of competition. Yeah, man, he's the things that you can't coach. He has, which is really encouraging. I totally see why he's a top 100 recruit nationally.
Yeah, it's pretty evident.
Makes sense. So that's good. This is, to your point, AB. Like, this is the battle. Like, FSU has done a great job getting defensive ends in the transfer portal. They've done a really good job at some position groups in the prep ranks. I wrote about leveling up earlier this week. That's something you need to do. This is the kind of guy that you're going to have to. You're talking about making a statement in South Florida. This is the type of player that you need to recruit and win and beat a team.
It's the next step.
Against. Yep,
it's the next step. They're gonna take the next step as high school recruiting. This is the kind of prospect they've got to find themselves winning. Big battles in South Florida are going to happen. I don't care if he's got ties and his school's got ties to Mario Cristobal or not. You've got to go down there and find a way to win those battles.
Absolutely.
You went out and got a Pat Surtain to come in and coach your secondary. You've got a Randy Shannon. You've got guys connected to that area also. Now you got to rely on them to go do their jobs, put another great product out on the field, and you're pointing to a lot of upside. And I don't think Miami's really going to be able to do that. So, go win it. The next young man we were going to take a look at is, and I don't know as much about him, but I know that Mike Norvell took a helicopter to go see him right away. I hope I'm saying his name right. Chalil Cummings.
Yes, say it with confidence. Say it with conviction now. Chalil Cummings.
I don't want to screw the kid's name up. Enough moms mad at me already. I don't want to screw his name up.
That's true. That is your thing.
Chalil Cummings out of Bradford High School. What is he? Is he D-back? He's listed as an athlete.
He's listed as an athlete, and Stark Bradford, for people who aren't from the state of Florida that may not know, it's kind of in the Jacksonville area, but south, maybe about an hour outside of St. Augustine, kind of rural, but a few roads lead through it. So anyways, he played, I think it's a smaller school classification, or at least mid-tier Florida ranks. So he plays both ways there. He's also a basketball player, listed at 5'11", 186 on 24/7. His huddle has him at 6'1". I think his measurements and testing are going to be really important parts of the puzzle and figuring out exactly how good he is, because FSU does like him. He's a priority. I think he's close to being a take for Florida State. I don't know if he exactly is right now, but like you said, AB, Mike Norvell flew a chopper. Well, Mike didn't fly the chopper that I know of. I know he's a very talented human being. I don't know if he could fly, but he was able to take a helicopter to Bradford on a day that was pretty busy for him regionally. That was his first stop, though. Then Chalil Cummings returned the favor, drove to Tallahassee over the weekend for Junior Day. So, yeah, someone that Florida State likes. We are going to see if they love him. He's ranked 370th nationally overall. His composite score is 88.8. So a good player. I'm excited for you guys to watch this film because I like the way he plays. He's very smooth to me. So I want to see what you guys think of him.
I haven't watched him yet. He's one I haven't gotten to yet.
So he's playing free safety here.
Hash safety. Oh, baby.
That's nice.
Rewind that, because that's the play I could not get over the very first one. It's impressive.
He kind of does this hip turn. Yeah.
Find the ball, and now watch the return. This is icing on the cake. This is a cherry on top. Oh, hey, I'm just gonna mess with you, toy around. Why not? Sure.
Reset his feet.
So he's gonna have special teams value right away, just based on how he's returning that punt or that.
And watch his ball skills now. Like,
not
explosive as an athlete, but very controlled, very balanced, very smooth, very natural.
Oh, that was so smooth. Yeah. Look at these first few steps. He just it's subtle, but he kind of gets his hips down low and just glides by this corner who's not expecting him to go that fast.
Yeah, when he gets on the DB's toes, he's able to get another gear and kind of run by him.
Yeah, I think this guy reminds me a lot of the Ricky Knight guy we're watching. He's He's got good agility. He moves well. He's got kind of the intangibles of the game down. I think what really stands out is his ball skills, though. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
It's interesting, like a lot of true like safety film too. A lot of up top.
Seems to be a priority.
Yep.
Yeah, he seems to be kind of the other piece of the puzzle. So he's less physical than some of the guys we were watching earlier, but he moves really well in space and has those ball skills. So you see him, they're using him more as a free safety, so more as a guy that kind of patrols the deep middle of the field, more of a pass defender than a true dual threat safety.
He's a lot of fun. Camera work needs to be better.
Ooh, hello.
Not sure how he got that pick. Looks like it was kind of airmailed.
Yeah, I think it was just a really bad throw by the quarterback.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's a nice.
The release is nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a DB recruit for them as far as I'm aware of. But yeah, seems like a true safety. But yeah, just like there's this.
He might be a nickel.
All right, let's talk about.
You want to put him at nickel?
Let's talk about AB's.
He could play nickel. I mean, he could.
Look at the range there. Go back there, Kev, if you can, please. It's just like it's so controlled too. Like he's in a good spot, even if it's a better ball, like to play it. Like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be we're saying FSU's emerging as a top 10 program nationally. I don't know if he's going to be a guy who lands at a top 10 school. He might, because of proximity and because of intangibles. FSU might like him, and I love him. I think he's a 4-star all the way. But at the very least, like I can see this kid going to Wake Forest and starting for 3 years.
Yeah.
And actually, there's some Jesse Bates elements to his game.
Yeah, I think his size might deter some bigger programs, right? So, do you really want a safety who has no hitting? You know, he hasn't shown to make contact in the box. Maybe we see it here. But he's a little bit softer in the run game than you would want from a traditional safety, and maybe that scares off a bigger program, but he's got great ball skills.
I would love to see, like I mentioned earlier, his athletic testing. I think it's going to be big because he just looks very smooth and natural out there. But like, what's the GPS say? Is he doesn't look explosive. It's more this naturalness, which may not be a bad thing necessarily, but I think you just need to kind of see what
if you're going to be recruiting at the level that we think they potentially are going to be, you might just be recruiting a better level of athlete than this young man. It doesn't mean that he's not a good football player, but he's got a lot of things, but I don't know if he has the top speed that you're really could be in play for if you have another really good season. So you might just kind of upgrade your way out of taking a prospect like this. But I mean, the kid's film is really good.
If you took him today and he ended up being in the bottom like 5 players of your prep class, you're really happy about that, right?
Goodness,
if he's in the middle tier of your prep class, you're probably like, okay. Like if he's in the fringe of your blue chip ratio, I think you're okay with that too.
You just press the dirt out of somebody.
I was about to say, I really wanted to see him get physical. Here he is. So
listen versus 4-star nickel. That's impressive. When do we want to talk about AB's nickel infatuation and his theories? Do we want to get into that tonight?
We've had so many conversations on text message.
I got 13 minutes till the next show, so I'm not sure we're going to get into it tonight.
I do have a little intel on that. AB asked me to ask around. So FSU is not. They are not going to. This isn't this wholesale revamp of what they're looking at for a nickelback. However, they might be, to AB's earlier point, starting to be enticing to a higher caliber athlete, to where you may not be surrendering the size and length that you would need for someone who's a quicker slot guy. So if you can get someone with Kevin Knowles' feet, but with an extra, 4 inches of wingspan to them, I think that is something that they are now in the market for. So I don't know if that manifests itself in this 2023 season, AB, but I do think that is something that you'll see. They aren't having to sacrifice skill sets or traits as much anymore. They could have the best of both worlds.
All right, the next prospect we're going to get on to, because I do have another show to do after this.
Okay, all right, moving on.
Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah Thomas?
The Isaiah Thomas, the football player out of Clearwater International Academy.
Clearwater, CAI, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Clearwater International Academy International or International
CAI
Academy.
Academy. It's a weird name. Yeah, he
Yeah.
is not ranked currently, but the offer list is booming for him. It's
Believe he's out of Toronto.
yes, he is. That's the same school where you got. Oh God, who's the
Lucas
offensive
Simmons.
tackle?
You're
Lucas
recruiting
Simmons, that's
Jason Zamandella.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got some ties there. Clearly, they prioritize that program, and some of the players that are in there, super long, super long as an athlete.
Yeah, this guy's he's a bigger guy.
Yeah,
and moves really well too.
Yeah, he does.
This is what they're wanting to move to at safety. They're wanting to get these longer, bigger guys.
And
Right, someone like Shaheem Brown,
Mm-hmm.
like that kind of mold of a safety.
Well, but runs like Akeem Dent.
Runs like
is this CAI film, Kev?
Mm-hmm.
Just making sure it's not some Toronto school that he's going against. And CAI plays an interesting schedule. They have some lower end competition, but they played up against Venice. I think beat Venice this past year, who's been a really good program at a higher classification. So they'll play some teams.
Instincts are there.
I like that we're now seeing a DB. So we've been seeing some DBs that were kind of corners and safeties. Now we're seeing a guy that's a safety and a linebacker, right? So you're kind of seeing the other end of that hybrid spectrum.
Which was originally what FSU wanted in that slot, for what it's worth. When Adam
and you can get away with that, but they have to be elite athletes.
It has to look like this, right? Here he is defending the slot here.
No,
or he's going to. You know what?
Just long, man. Those strides.
I've seen enough.
I like the Shaheem Brown comp, Kev. I think that's a good one physically.
But I think he's taller. He looks taller.
Really, Shaheem Brown's like 6'3".
I think they're built similarly with the arm length. There's similar bounciness. What'll be interesting to see is if he's got a little bit more. Not that Shane Brown doesn't have bend, but this looks a little bit more. He's got a little more fluidity to him, which, sign me up. I'm good. I know we're on a time crunch here. There's a stamp of approval all around, right? He will be ranked 4 stars by the time this is all said and done. He's on rank.
Where do they stand in his recruitment?
He was just on campus this past weekend. I'm not sure other than he was here for junior day with some teammates. Yeah. Obviously, there is some pipeline to CAI.
They were back down there today. Mike Norvell, and we're not sure whether Mike was allowed into the school or not. And Pat Surtain were down there today to visit with that school again. So clearly, guys down there, priority numero uno. All right, the last prospect we're going to take a look at, and a guy that Zach called maybe the most realistic wide receiver option on the board on the OTB that dropped yesterday. Well, or whatever. Tuesday,
whenever you listen
Monday,
to this.
Tuesday, whatever day it was, whenever you listen to this. James Madison II out of St. Thomas Aquinas. If that school sounds familiar, that's because they are recruiting a ton of guys out of there. But James Madison II is a wide receiver who it seems like is a priority for them.
Yeah, he is 6'3", 170 pounds, is ranked 179th nationally overall in the 24/7 Sports Composite. He has a 92 grade composite, 90 grade by 24/7 Sports. Claimed offers: Alabama, Auburn, Florida State, Colorado, boo, Kentucky, others. So the St. Thomas Aquinas connection is noteworthy because Conrad Hussey, that was a huge win for FSU to get that on the recruiting trail because it opened the door to St. Thomas Aquinas for players like this. It was beyond just getting Conrad Hussey, which was a win in and of itself. So it'll be fun. I haven't watched James Madison yet, but Zach and Dane, I think, were impressed this weekend.
Kevin and I were watching a little bit before you hopped on with us. I mean, there's some, I don't know, there's some game there, obviously. You see it there.
Kind size.
Yeah, he's big. He seems like a big kid.
6'4". He doesn't jump out as 6'4" there, but I mean, he moves well for a big dude.
One thing he's at STA. The nutrition, strength and conditioning for that program is going to be as good as any in the state of Florida. So it's going to be development.
And he's going to be coached very well.
Yep.
That was a nice little kind of a hesitation route. So Florida State runs something very similar. This is just kind of a slot fade. You're kind of going against a single high safety. You're trying to, again, hitting this little gap here. He does a good job of giving a little hesitation step, and that gets that nickel defender's feet flat, and then he runs by him.
This was the NC State play. That did not go well.
Yeah, they were running a different coverage, but
yeah, they were playing higher off. Yeah, but we don't have to bring up old stuff. You know who he's got? So,
Oh,
that was surprising. Did he get flagged for that? I think there's a flag at the end. Watch.
oh yeah.
Probably. You're
Multiple
not typically
refs.
allowed to jump over guys.
YOLO.
I don't know what the Florida rules are, but
It's got a little of the Darion Williamson.
I see Darian Williamson a lot in this.
Do you?
game.
Okay. Hey, look at that. Great minds. Yeah, it's got some of that. Maybe even a little Kentron, but I see what they're looking at there. You're talking about bendy, bouncy, long.
strides, yeah.
Yeah, I want to see some body control out of him if he's a bigger guy, but I mean, if he's legit 6'4", or even 6'3", I mean, he moves well. He plays like a smaller kid at that height.
Yeah, he moves like 6'1"-ish. So I mean, that doesn't sound like a huge deal, but you know that helps you win a few more battles here and there. And
yeah, like legit. When I first saw him, when I was looking at him, I'm like, dang, he kind of moves like Devontae Smith, but he's actually 6'3" or 6'4". Like, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, he moves well. I'll agree with you. I'd like to see him. I haven't really seen a true cut out of him, just kind of that that hesitation cut. Yeah, would like to see him kind of catch a ball or two over the middle, but I'm sure that that's part of his game. But even not, like Darian Williamson is a true weapon, and he's someone that you really only get the ball through screens and other methods.
Concentration. Right now, based on what we see, again, he's ranked by us as a 90, 92 or so composite grade. I think that's properly ranked. I think he's a low end 4-star. I see it. And context, like low end 4-star is an NFL caliber talent. The way we rank it, even a high end 3-star means you have some upside there. So, you know, don't get it twisted. Like, oh, there we go. Good body control there.
They want potentially 4 wide receivers in this class. They've got one already in Camden Fryer. They're in with a bunch of dudes, a bunch of names.
Yeah, Tawaski Abrams is one.
Madison's teammate Chance Robinson. I mean, they're in the game with a bunch of guys. We'll see how it kind of all unfolds here as time goes on.
Camden Fryer's film we'll look at some point. The junior highlights, guys, are a lot of fun. Also, I did say don't get it twisted. I have immediate regrets about that. I do apologize.
It's okay. It was lit when you said it.
For
all right, so that is going to wrap it up for us tonight, because yes, I do need to go do another show, and I hate to say that now, but
so
popular.
With the time crunch being what it is, I am going to say it that way.
Yeah, because someone was late,
babbling on and get in trouble. So thank you for joining us. This is going to be something we're going to try out more in the future. The 3 film junkies that we are, we like to sit down and just kind of BS through it. So if you like this format, if you like this type of show, let us know in the comments section. Let us know on the message boards, wherever the heck you will let us know. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, turn your bell notifications on. It's just going to help us get all this amazing film content out into the Knollverse on YouTube and wherever the heck else it ends up fitting in. So for Brendan Zanone, for Kevin Little, for Coach AB, deuces.